The Word on Wealth Radio Network.
The airing of this program by this station is not an endorsement or recommendation by the station of the products or services discussed in the program. The station does not guarantee the results of any investments made by a listener to this program.
This is The Word on Wealth with Gary Quackenbush of GQ Law. Gary is a San Diego financial solutions attorney, protecting people like you. The Word on Wealth team of financial experts is here to answer your questions and help preserve your family's financial future. Now, here's Gary.
All right. Hey, welcome to Word on Wealth. We're so glad to have you along. Oh, this is my favorite time of day. Every day is 2 o'clock when this show airs on the radio. And I have a wonderful team around me that helps put on the show. I've got Noah, who's my producer and board operator, and actually does this thing with me live. And I've got all these people that help out. And one thing that I love is the guests that we have on our show. They're super carefully vetted to make sure that they're awesome people and they provide great things for the community and that fits into the Word on Wealth theme. And we have the guest for you today. We've got Lori Batchelor. She is the main person at Enviro Green Electronic Recycling. In fact, she is the CEO. So that would be Chief Environmental Officer. Is that right, Louise? Did I get that right?
Yeah, absolutely. I like that.
All right. So Louise is the CEO of Enviro Green Electronics Recycling. Recycling is such a big thing. Now it's like everybody knows about recycling. And I know when I was a little kid, recycling was going around and you had your wooden, this really dates me, I know, but we had either a wooden or a plastic crate, and we would go around and we would collect Coke bottles and 7-Up bottles, and we could take them down to the recycling plant, and they would basically wash them out and fill them back up and put caps on them. And it's like, it's different nowadays. So tell us about it. Like, what is this thing with recycling and environmentally, like electronic recycling? To me, it's always like, oh my gosh, electronic recycling, how does that work? So what is it about? What do you do? What is so awesome about your company?
Well, what electronic recycling is, and especially in the state of California, we're very environmentally friendly. And we can find a place for everything that has either a plug or runs on batteries. Anything electronic related, we can recycle it for you. So it doesn't go into the landfill. It doesn't go to third world countries. And we do what's called upcycling, which means we can also give the electronics a second life.
Okay. And I love you said something that was interesting. Landfills, we go, oh yeah, we don't want it in our landfills because Myanmar's already piled up high enough. But then you said, and doesn't go into third world countries, which we know that's a big issue. A lot of times it gets loaded on a barge and shipped across the ocean and dumped somewhere else. So I want you to tell us about upcycling. Like, what do you do? I mean, do you end up, because recycling it's not like a misnomer, but it's like, I'm not using it anymore. I'm throwing it into the garbage, but then you say, Gary, don't you dare. You give it to me. What does Enviro Green do with like my old computer or an old TV or something like that?
Well, the first thing we do is, and by the way, this is available to businesses and to residential. So anyone can use our services. So we'll take the commodities in. Let's use your example of the computer.
Okay.
We immediately take the hard drive out. We have a Department of Defense wipe that we do automatically to all of our hard drives. And we will assess the computer if it's reusable again, or if it is actually needing to be recycled, meaning taking the components apart and then sending it to the proper place. If we can reuse it again, we have an IT department that can upgrade it, clean it, do whatever is necessary. We will then either sell it to wholesalers for parts, if it's good but doesn't work, if it's still a valuable year, or we can refurbish it and sell it on eBay, or we make it available to the public. One of the things that we also do is we can provide these items with a warranty. One of our clients is the San Diego Department of Public Works. When they can't get monitors, they'll put an order in with us. We will give them the monitors at a very reasonable price, obviously, because they're used. And we give them a warranty, and it saves the department a big amount of their budget.
Wow, that is interesting. That actually, Louise, surprises me. You always think about, oh, government waste and a $5,000 hammer, but you're seeming to break that myth. So some of these things that people are, they don't need the monitor anymore, or they're not happy with it because they want a bigger one or a fancier one or something like that. And you guys actually figure out, is it still usable? And how much of it, so of the electronic recycling, let's just use computers again, because that's what I see a lot, is with computers, how much of, like, what percentage of the computers are actually repurposed and what percentage have to be like destroyed or recycled or crunched up?
Well, this will be a surprise to many people, but 70% of what we take in, we upcycle. We can do something with it. Either it's going to be, first of all, you can't believe how many new items we get. We will get, people will give us their copiers, and they'll give us their brand new toner that's not even opened in the box. So we're able to repurpose that, resell it, and give it to someone else that could actually use it. So it's not thrown away. But 70% of what we get in, we can do something, and it'll either be used as parts for people that want to need the parts.
2 minutes.
As I said, or it can be refurbished. And I would say of the 70%, probably 45% we don't even have to touch. We just clean it, inspect it, and we can just resell it.
Okay, this is the coolest thing ever. I love what you're doing. I just think this is so cool. So because this is individuals and businesses, like I'm turning around, counting, I have 6 hard drives on my floor behind, literally against my wall, because I'm like, well, what do I do with them? I can't drill holes in them, whatever. Okay. So how do we get our stuff to you? Where do we drop it off? How does that work?
Okay, so we can arrange a pickup, or you can drop it off. Pickups, residential, usually start around 55, businesses start at 85, and based on what they give us, we will give them an estimate of what we can pick up. We have a
About a minute.
we can send them of how we destroy the hard drive. We have the Department of Defense wipe, and we have the crusher.
Okay.
And the crusher will actually break it in half.
Okay. So now, to get a hold of you for an estimate, I've got a couple of numbers on my screen, but tell me the best number, the best way to get a hold of you.
First, SanDiegoRecycles.com.
Okay.
So that's plural, SanDiegoRecycles.com, or 858-800-1272.
Okay. So there's the 2 ways to contact Enviro Green Electronic Recycling. You've got 858-800-1272. And then our favorite, everybody loves the website. It's San Diego Recycles, plural.com. Okay. So then you can contact,
Correct.
we get a hold of Louise. She's there sitting there answering the phone all day. I'm kidding, but at least you can get it done. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I'm going to ask, I got some more questions for her about, where do we collect the items and what do we do with them and the wiping. And we'll be back right here on The Word on Wealth with Louise.
You've got questions. We've got answers. This is The Word on Wealth with Gary Quackenbush of GQ Law. Gary's here to give you peace of mind with expert estate planning, trust administration, inheritance, and probate. Call Gary to build, protect, and transfer your wealth. 855-500-TRUST. GQLaw.com.
You're saving and investing for the future, and that's good. Have you ever stopped to think, where does my money actually go? This is faith-based investing with Anthony Wright.
Most Christians just don't understand that the money they save for retirement usually helps fund the abortion industry and other liberal anti-family causes. But did you know that with just a few minutes of your time, we can screen and clean your investments at no cost to you? It's absolutely complimentary. Just go to the website right now, download a free copy of my book, Faith-Based Investing. It's free as well. You deserve to know the truth as the investor. Then the choice is yours. You can keep doing what you're doing, or you can line up your investments and life savings with your beliefs. We are fiduciary investment advisors. You can feel good about investing with confidence. So learn more now. Go to BibleSafeInvesting.com or call me at 931-RETIRED. Your free book is waiting for you. Go to BibleSafeInvesting.com and be sure that you listen to Faith-Based Investing this weekend right here on Family Call.
So Gary, we've talked a long time about estate administration. So what is that and why is it important?
Estate administration is the distribution part of estate planning. So when someone passes away and they leave money to beneficiaries, the property has to be administered. So it's like taking it from the decedent to the survivor. That's called the estate administration process. So usually you're going to have a successor trustee that's named in the trust. So have no idea what they're doing because they've never done it before. So then they call on GQ Law and we walk them step by step on how to be a successful and good successor trustee. We also do the required notifications. We notify the Department of Health Services and all the legal requirements so that they can have the estate administration done properly. We help successor trustees be successful.
Call or click to request your free consultation. gqlaw.com, 855-500-TRUST, gqlaw.com.
Who will you trust with the biggest financial decision of your lifetime? If you're planning to buy or sell a home in San Diego County, do what I do and work with the true San Diego real estate experts. Ken Pecos and the Pecos Group helped me and my family. They can help you. This is Gary Quackenbush of The Word on Wealth. You hear Ken every week here on The Word on Wealth. He's our expert. He's got integrity, exceptional service, deep knowledge of the San Diego, Coronado, and South Bay regions. These are just some of the reasons that Ken Pecos has completed hundreds of transactions. He manages a powerful team of professionals at the Pecos Group. From single-family attached homes to luxury high-value waterfront properties to apartment buildings, Ken Pecos is ready to help you avoid problems and costly mistakes. Learn more online at kenpecos.com. That's Ken Pecos, Pecus.com. Or call 619-977-8419.
DRE number 010566969, brokered by eXp Realty.
Hi, this
Tell a friend about this broadcast outreach, The Word on Wealth, with Gary Quackenbush of GQ Law. Call or click to request your free initial consultation or to talk with a member of the team. Call Gary at 855-500-TRUST. GQ Law.
You're live.
All right. Welcome to Word on Wealth. We're so happy to have you along. We just love this hour of our day where we can provide you information here on the Word on Wealth. Today, we are talking to Lori Batchelor, who's the CEO of Enviro Green Electronic Recycling. You guys are like me. Again, we know we're supposed to recycle, and sometimes it is just so inconvenient that, how do we go to recycle? We're going to go to the Miramar landfill recycling place and make an appointment between, 9 and 9:15. And we have to, it's just like, it just seems like such a difficult challenge, even though we want to do what's right. Well, Louise and her company, Enviro Green Electronic Cycling, actually makes it easy for us to kind of do what we know we should be doing, and that is recycling our electronics. I do want to point out, we got more questions for Louise, and if you have questions, you can call and talk to her live right now on this show. It's 888-344-1170. You can call up and ask her your question. I do want to point out some things that we are super proud of. Louise's company was featured in the San Diego Regional Chamber of Commerce as the 2023 Sustainable Business Award, which is super cool. We have a press release that's explaining all that. The San Diego Business Journal did an article about her, and Fox 5 TV did a segment on her called "One Man's Trash Proves to Be Another's Treasure." So these are all the things that we want to have happen. And Louise has had the guts and the stamina and the backbone to pull it off. So we are here talking to her more about that. Louise, welcome back to the show after our brief little break.
Thank you very much.
So let me, so here's kind of the scenario for me, and you can talk me off the ledge. I have computers, I have laptops, I've got electronics, I've got plugs all over the place, these things, and I want to chuck them, and I don't dare put them in the trash because that's not the right thing to do. So I collect them and I store them and I wait for the neighborhood electronics recycling, and I can't figure out when and where. So now I want to figure out what to do with my computers and my hard drives. I go online to, let's see, what did I do? I just found the thing.
San Diego Recycle.com.
Okay. And then it says, here's where your locations are. And you have a bunch of locations. I can go to your main office, actually during regular people hours, and drop stuff off. And there's also other locations and pickups. This is great. This is great. Now, go ahead.
Our main location is where we can help people unload when they have larger items or bulkier items. The other 3 locations are drop-off, where we have fine members of the community, Sierra Santa Ace Hardware, and 2 storage units that you can drop them off in different parts of the city, and just come in, drop them off, and go. So we try to make it as easy as you can. You don't have to wait for a Saturday event, but we are open on Saturdays, and the drop-off locations are open 7 days a week. So yes, we try to make it as easy as possible.
Okay, well, that's terrific. And this is just one of those things where it's like, really, somebody's actually doing this. It's so cool. We just love it. Now, one of the things that I heard about your company, we'll talk about your wonderful eBay store and your warranty. There's just so much going on. But sometimes you have like local businesses or nonprofits, and they're really trying to help out with this. And my understanding, tell us about your program where you actually help like businesses, nonprofits set up like e-waste collection events.
Yes, we have a couple of different options. One of the things I can impress is that if you have an idea, bring it to us, so that we can start fundraisers. We work with churches that'll do fundraisers. We can have an employee appreciation day where a company can have, maybe they don't have a lot of e-waste and they want to include their employees to bring in all their e-waste, and we'll pick it up at their location at a certain time, so that we can design an event around what you need. Like I said, we have churches, we work with Father Joe's, we pick up their items, so that we can help you without making it a hassle.
So I guess part of this then is, it's not only that, I guess the reason I'm really liking this is because sometimes I actually have a computer that I know it's workable, but with the way Windows is, it just seems like I've had to update it so many times. It hates my software now. And it's like, okay, throw it away. I'm getting a new computer, but I don't want to throw it away because I think maybe someone can use it. And really, to me, it's almost, it's really cool. And it's almost a little surprising. Like, you can take an old computer and go back through it and actually make it so that it's usable again, which I really like. So it's not recycling,
Correct.
like grinding it to dust and taking the gold out, one of those recycling plants. It's like you're actually literally putting these things back in use like 70% of the time.
Correct. I call it upcycling. That's what we do. We will take it and upcycle anything that we can. As I said, only 30% of our items need to be recycled, where we break it down and we sell it to the appropriate downstream, which is another recycler that will buy it and do their proper disposal.
Louise, what got you started in this?
It was, I volunteered at a recycling yard. I took a little tour, and it was a commercial recycler, and they kept turning down electronics. And I kept thinking, people want to get rid of it. There's got to be something to it. So I called the recycling yard. They directed me to what can be done. And I bought a pickup truck New Year's Eve 12 years ago. And the next day I had to make $25 a day to pay for my truck. And my first client was the UPS stores, because they take in the AT&T equipment, and they're still my client to this day. So we pick up the parts of the AT&T equipment that AT&T does not want back. We take it in and we recycle it.
Interesting.
And I need to make more than $25 right now. So
I'll bet you're up to 30. No, you're getting bigger. You're like growing all the time. And that was the Fox News, their story. And they're going, whoa, this lady's really cranking. That's terrific. Now you have an eBay store, which it when the impression is typically you see these, posters around town that says, recycling today at the, so-and-so corner store, and you go drop off your stuff. And if it's electronics, they charge you money. And then you go, what are you going to do with this stuff? They go, we're going to smash it all up. And it's like, well, wait a minute. What? So, I mean, that's always my impression. Like, well, gosh, what if this is actually reusable? But you have an eBay store. Tell us about that.
Correct. This is where most of our items go. And so once we look at it, and it's surprising, we're transparent. So when people ask me what we're going to do, we say we will try to give it a second life. So if you want it destroyed, that's not going to be our first choice, but we will destroy sensitive documentation, obviously. We will take care of the things that need to be destroyed.
Right.
We comply with all HIPAA requirements, so on and so forth. But we, right now we have over 500 items in our store. And as I said, you can buy something as small as, the toners, and you can buy something as large as a printer or a copier that we can sell. And if you come into our store and you see it online and you come into our office, we, naturally provide you with a discount saying that you saw it, and we can then take care of it for you. So that's one of the things I'm very proud of. And it really came into fruition with COVID, because everything was closed and people were calling us up saying, can you overnight my Xbox 360 cord because my dog just chewed it? We said, sure, we'll overnight an Xbox 360 cord. So that we did it.
Wow, this is so interesting. I do this sometimes because luckily I get to sit in front of a computer when I'm doing the radio show, and I always get kind of check things out. I'm going, you guys have a lot of stuff there. So this stuff that you have on your eBay store, you actually have it at your Miramar facility where you can actually pick it up?
That's correct. You can do local pickup and save money.
This is the Amazon of recycling. Way to go, Louise. Way to go. Okay. Now let's, so on your eBay store, you buy electronics and go, oh man, what if this thing doesn't work? I heard, and I understand it because it says it on your website too, is like that you actually can offer sometimes a warranty, 90 to 180 days. Can you talk about that?
Yes, and the standard with eBay is that we have, they highly suggest we offer at least a 30 to 60-day warranty.
Mm-hmm.
The other nice thing is with other electronics, you can purchase a longer warranty with eBay, and they will comply. So that there's many different ways that you can feel good about buying something. And if it doesn't work right away, and what I like to do with the local community, if they come in and buy it here, we can offer more than the standard eBay 30-day warranty. We will work with you. We have many, many monitors. If this one doesn't work, bring it back. We'll find one that does work for you.
Huh.
So we're very, I want to be very friendly to the San Diego community. I want to be workable with the San Diego community and keep our good name.
And what is the most popular item that you, I want to say sell, but I guess what's the most popular item that you kind of refurbish or you put back out there to kind of to upcycle? What's kind of the most popular thing that you see that's now going back out into the community?
The standard items that we always have: monitors, printers, and computers. And stereo receivers. Big on stereo receivers, especially the older ones. And then the VCR to DVD recordings are very popular. So we get those in. That's one of the first things we work on, because people naturally want those more and more as they're becoming, people are trying to re-record their family tapes, things like that. Mm-hmm. So those are surprising.
2 minutes.
Interesting. It's fascinating. And so you get things like maybe they recycle an iPad or a Bose speaker system, and they don't want it. They've already upgraded their system. It's Christmas time, and now they just want to give it away somewhere. They can get Enviro Green electronic recycling services to basically kind of repurpose their stuff, and put it back out there in the world.
Correct.
It sounds like. So do you have a,
people that can't afford it?
interesting. Well, I'm wondering then, is there a particular time of year, like around Christmas time, like after when everybody's got all their new stuff, do things get busier in particular times of the year for you?
We try to put things just like the stores. So we try to put after October and before the 1st of December.
1 minute.
We really try to put household and gifts out there. And then naturally, right after New Year's, we get a lot of influx of the old stuff coming in.
Well,
so that's usually our busiest time.
Louise, thank you so much for being on the air with us today. Our half hour just flew by. I want you guys, all of you listeners, seriously, this is how to repurpose, recycle, upcycle. You can get to Enviro Green Electronic Recycling. Just remember that, Enviro Green Electronic Recycling. Their website is San Diego Recycles.com. And you bet San Diego does recycle. And this is the organization that's going to help you do that. San Diego Recycles. Feel good about what you do with your old electronics. They're going to be repurposed. 70% go back out into the world. And people that, don't have quite the budget to do the big stuff. Their number is 858-800-1272. Louise, thank you so much. We hope you have you on again soon here on the Word on Wealth. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
All right, everybody. We'll be back in a few right here on the Word on Wealth.
You don't need to know everything. You just need to know where to find answers you can trust when you need them. Welcome to the Word on Wealth with Gary Quackenbush. We are here to help you build, protect, and transfer everything you've worked hard for with expert estate planning, trust administration, inheritance, and probate. Call Gary and the team at gqlaw.com, 855-500-TRUST. You're not alone. Ask for the legal help you need. Call Gary and the team at GQ Law, 855-500-TRUST. Or go online and download Gary's free ebooks and videos. Read Gary's blogs. Call or click to request your free consultation or to talk with a member of the GQ team. That's gqlaw.com, 855-500.
You're live.
You are listening to the Word on Wealth, and I am so happy to have you along today. We are here every Monday through Friday, every weekday at 2:00. And if you missed the show or you want to hear it again, or there's a piece of, oh man, I didn't get that. what Noah does is he converts this radio show to a podcast, and the podcast is called The Word on Wealth with Gary Quackenbush. Imagine that. And it is available on all major podcast platforms. So that's going to be Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You can also go to the website, the radio station website, which is kprz.com and kcbq.com. Supposed to put in theanswersandiego.com, but they both go to the same place. So you can re-listen to this. This is really great. We were talking to Louise Batchelor. She's the CEO of Enviro Green Electronics Recycling. So if you've ever thought, what happens when I take my recycling, my electronics recycling and my stuff to the, usually it's like the, the drugstore on the corner, they have these electronic recycling in a parking lot somewhere, and there's a big truck there, and you can shred some stuff and drop off your electronics. And where does it go? Well, I know a lot of that stuff just gets ground up. It gets ground up, it's sorted out. They pull the electronics out, they crush the electronics, they get the gold out, and that's why they do the recycling. Louise has a very different perspective on that, and that is she looks at this stuff and she can actually upcycle it, like really put it back out there in the world where you can get things that are like at incredibly affordable prices. And they've got this really nice eBay site, and you can go just sort through and look at these items that they have on eBay that are going to be things that were basically recycled. Now go to San Diego Recycles with an S at the end, SanDiegoRecycles.com, and you can see it takes you to the eBay site, which says welcome to the green side instead of the dark side. I thought that was clever. And it also has their social media channels, so you can see what they're up to. And what Louise is telling me is if you want to do a little fundraiser and you've got a charitable organization and you want to do it, then just call her. Say, hey, will you help me with this? I'd like to do a recycling day. And how will that benefit my charity? And she will help you. The easiest way to remember how to get hold of Louise is simply go to the website, SanDiegoRecycles.com. So, Louise, thank you so much for being a part of our listener Word on Wealth family today. It's super cool. I want to finish up this show answering your questions. And if you have a question specifically for me, 888-344-1170. There's a continuing theme here on the Word on Wealth, and that is I really want you to manage your wealth. Wealth is defined as the state of enoughness. So if you are wealthy, then you feel like you have enough. And I will tell you that some people who we would consider wealthy because they have like gobs of money and their house is hanging off a cliff and they've got 75 cars and an electronic spin around driveway and all that, they would never say that they were, quote, wealthy, meaning that they have enough. I know people, believe me, in doing this for 35 years, estate planning for people, helping people settle estates, helping people deal with their money, helping people pass their money on to their family and their heirs. It has nothing to do with how much money you have. It really doesn't. Okay. And I know more money tends to make it so that life is a little bit easier for the most part. But I have people that I'm dealing with who are planning their estate and being very careful because they've got $100,000 that they're basically preserving for their heirs while they live on their Social Security and their retirement, and they're being very frugal and they're trying to protect their wealth. And they feel like they are wealthy because they are. They feel like they have enough and they're happy and they live within their means. I've represented people that are worth $80 or $90 million. And it's, and some of them are happy with that and they feel like they have enough. But for the most part, it really isn't a matter of dollars. It's a matter of attitude and whether you feel like you have enough. So Word on Wealth is all about figuring out how to be happy, how to find joy with what you've got and how to manage what you've got. I believe that we were all put here on this planet to be good stewards over our relationships, our family, our people, the people we work with, the people that work for us. All these relationships, I believe, that's our mandate when we were born here, is to be good to other people and help other people as much as we can. That means you have to make money, because then you have the freedom to do other things. But I think so much of the wealth concept, I just want, my feelings, and hopefully that comes through in the show, is that I want people to find joy and to be okay with the sacrifices they make, to be okay with the money that they have. There's a lot of examples of people who they're very happy with what they have, but they're ambitious for more, and that's a really healthy person. I'm happy with what I've got. I'm ambitious for more. So it's not like I go, okay, I'm going to fall back on my laurels and I'm not going to work anymore or do anything. I'm just going to do my thing. Most people that have enough are also ambitious to be able to provide more service, to make more money, to be a better steward of your money and all that. And that's what we're trying to help you with. Okay. What I have been finding is a lot of people wait too long. Some people, really wait too long, because I've had situations where I was asked by, somebody to, hey, I want you to visit with my mom. And she's been talking for years about changing her will. And she wants to give half of her money to a charity, and then the rest goes to her children. And she's been talking about it for years and years, and we want to get that done. But she's been getting really sick, and now she's in hospice. Can you come and talk to her? And I've had really, stressful times when I go and talk to somebody, and it's like, I'm sorry, I can't do that. She's not competent enough to make a decision that you've told me she wants to make. Okay. Because the way it works is, if somebody wants to usually they're talking to their kids, right? And they say, hey, I want to make a change in my estate plan. I want to change my trust, and I want to include this charity, or I want to add my grandchildren, or I want to, divide up my property differently than I have anticipated all these years. And so usually they're talking to their kids about it, and their kids are the ones, sometimes if the parents are really struggling, the kids are the ones that will end up talking to me and saying, hey, can you talk to my dad? Can you talk to my mom? And I'm always willing to do that. But I've had many times, and the longer I do this, the more I see, is that people are waiting so long that it makes it much more difficult to determine, are they capable of making this decision or not? Now, if you have a question on that, call 888-344-1170. If you want to talk to me about a situation like we are discussing, really get on my calendar, get on there soon. It's 855-500-TRUST, and let's talk through it. Now, you might think that let's say your dad, let's say he's really struggling. He wants to make some changes to his estate plan. Let's say that in the estate plan, he's got his 3 children.
2 minutes.
But he's really feeling like one of them is really not functioning properly. He doesn't like what's going on in that child's life. It's not that he loves the child any less. It's just like really horrible money manager. And so now dad wants to make the change finally to reduce the amount of money that's going to that child, or eliminate the money that's going to that child. So you might think, wow, dad wants to do that. He better really be competent, which is absolutely correct. He needs to be competent. He needs to understand what he's doing, what money he has, all the money he has, kids, who gets it, and reasons. And I want to know all of that before I will actually kind of sign off and say, yep, he's competent to make this decision, and disinheriting that child seems to be what he really wants. So let's go ahead and make those document changes.
1 minute.
Okay. That's a big choice, to disinherit a child, because my thing that I say, my wording is the change doing something that is more, quote, natural or unnatural. And by natural, I mean, if you died without a will, without a trust, without anything, what does the law say would happen to your property? and most of your property would go to your children. In this case, we're saying he has 3 kids. So without a will, without a trust, without anything, his 3 kids will get his money. It's just going to have to go through probate, and it's going to take a long, long time and cost a lot of money. But at least that's what I call a natural distribution. It goes to the kids. So if that's being altered because dad says, you know what, I only want $10,000 to go to my oldest son, and the rest of it's going to go to my 2 youngest kids. Well, you've got to be competent and understand why you're doing that. That's what we're going to be. That's the analysis I'm going to be making. And, you know, is it going to work? Is it going to not? It depends. That's what I'm going to be doing. If you want help with that, I'm going to keep talking about it right here on the Word on Wealth. Give me a call, 855-500-TRUST. And I have another idea
You've
for
got
you.
questions. We've got answers. This is the Word on Wealth with Gary Quackenbush of GQ Law. Gary's here to give you peace of mind with expert estate planning, trust administration, inheritance, and probate. Call Gary to build, protect, and transfer your wealth. 855-500-TRUST. GQlaw.com.
Gary, your team at GQ Law are experts at solving IRS and state tax problems. Talk about that.
When people have a tax problem, it tends to really stress them out. And one of the things we've been able to do is figure out how to resolve tax problems. You know, one thing we might be doing is setting up a payment plan or getting a collection delay, maybe getting a determination that the person shouldn't have to pay the taxes at all. We do offers and compromise. We do audit reconsiderations. And one of the things that's a really powerful tool that some people don't recognize is sometimes bankruptcy can be used to actually eliminate taxes when there's certain conditions of the code that are met. So we can do all kinds of things. After we analyze your situation, we can figure out what's available, discuss your options, and figure out which ones to implement, what it's going to cost, how long it's going to take. And we can get people out from under all kinds of tax problems so they can sleep again. That's our goal.
Request your free initial consultation. GQlaw.com, 855-500-TRUST, GQlaw.com.
Tell a friend about this broadcast outreach, The Word on Wealth, with Gary Quackenbush of GQ Law. Call or click to request your free initial consultation or to talk with a member of the team. Call Gary at 855-500-TRUST. GQlaw.com.
Hey guys, we are so good to have you along today, and we're glad that you are a follower of GQ Law and a follower of the Word on Wealth, and we really appreciate that. If you want to get help from me and you want to have any of these questions that we're talking about here on the air, I'm trying to answer a lot of your questions. If you have specific questions, you can give me a call, or you can come in and talk to me personally, and I'd be happy to deal with your situation in my office. It is 855-500-TRUST is the number. Okay. We're talking about waiting too late, and what does that look like? And basically it's like you have to have the ability to make a decision. Now, I was saying that you may think that disinheriting a child, like you have 3 kids and you decided one of them's going to get either no money or a very little money compared to the other 2. You think, well, that makes a lot of sense because Johnny's a flake and he shouldn't get any money. Well, Johnny's not going to be very happy about that, and he's being disinherited. If that's going to be the case and you want to do a disinheritance of a child, you need to have the level of competence where you absolutely understand what you're doing, why you're doing it, that the information that you have on why you're doing it is sufficient to make that decision or choice. Okay. The other thing is you might think, well, initially, Johnny was disinherited, and now the brother and the sister that were getting all the money, now Johnny's being added back into the trust. And so you'd think, oh, that's more normal. That's more natural because now all the money is going to all of the children in equal share. So that seems more normal. Does that require a lower level of competence, or is it the same? Because now you've got the brother and sister who now are going to split it with Johnny, who wasn't in there for years. And now it's going to be the three of them sharing. Are they going to all be okay with it? Well, brother and sister are the ones that, potentially are the ones that are getting damaged, injured, cheated, whatever you want to say. They're the ones whose share have changed. And they would be the ones, if anyone, that might have some type of an action or cause of action or a reason to complain. Okay. So I think you can see part of what is going on. And if you kind of back up a little bit, and you might say, Gary, that's really interesting that, why would we be worried about the two kids that were getting all of the money and now it's being split between three kids? Are mom and dad really saying, hey, kids, here's my estate plan. Go ahead and read it and see what you think? Are we doing that as parents? Are we really sharing our entire estate plan with our children? And is that a good idea? And that's a very common question that people ask me. Is it a good idea to share your estate plan with your children? And my answer is, it depends. But mostly my answer is no way. Because that's your business. It's not your kid's business. It's not their money. They're not entitled to it. It may not even be there when you die. So I'm a big fan of saying, no, don't share your estate plan. Tell your kids where it is. Tell them it's in the firebox in the closet next to the luggage with a key that's still in there so that they can get in, if they need to, if the house burns down or something. But I don't think it's that great of an idea to share it with your kids. I mean, if you're totally comfortable and you're just convinced you would never change this thing, some people share their estate plan, say, here, hon, here's a copy of everything, and the kids can look at it. But once you do that and you go to make a change, I have seen more people get tremendous heartache because they go to make a change and their kids are now really upset. And why did you make the change? Why did you add Johnny? Why did you take Johnny out? Why did you do that? Why did you make this change? And then you're like, you know what? This is my estate plan. I can do it whatever the heck I want, which is true from a legal standpoint. Yeah. But from a family standpoint, from an emotional standpoint, of course you can do whatever you want, but we're having to deal with the messiness of families. So how much do you really want to share everything with your children? What if something changes? Okay, you've given your kid a copy of the trust and it says it goes in equal shares to all the kids. And then all of a sudden one kid does something awful and you think, oh my goodness, I can't have that child inheriting from me because it'll ruin their life, or it'll be for the worst, or it'll be a waste. So you go and make an amendment. So now your new trust, or the amendment would say that child doesn't get money. What are you going to do now? Are you going to now send the copy of the trust to that child and say, hey, my flaky child, I still love you, but you're not getting anything from me? I'm sure that will not elicit any horrible reaction at all. I'm joking. Of course it will. For the most part, if you now share that with the child that's being disinherited, a lot of them, people are just really not too agreeable to that. Now, you're thinking, well, Gary, it's not their money. It's not their money. It's not their estate. They're not entitled to anything. And I would say, I agree with you 100%. It's not. But if you're putting it in a will or a trust and then sending the trust to the kids, it's almost like you're saying, hey guys, you can start counting on this money. But they can't. I mean, if you're in your 40s or 50s, you're not going to die soon. Maybe if you're 95, go ahead and share it with them, or you think, wow, I don't have much longer to live. It's time to whip out the estate plan. Great. If you die prematurely, it's not necessary that you have already shared it with your kids, because the document is created in a way that we don't need you to testify about it. It's independent of you. It's been notarized. It's been witnessed. It's been stored properly. So estate plans are kind of an interesting thing. It gives your kids or your beneficiaries the entitlement, the legal entitlement to have that money after certain events occur. And that event is almost always your death. So does sharing it before you die, does that make a lot of sense? It really depends. For the most part, I say no. Sometimes I say, sure, share it with your kids. But when I say sure, share it with your kids, normally it's a distribution is going to all 3 kids. They've been very stable. The family is very close and the parents are very old. And that's when I go ahead, share away. Because that's when, you know, when somebody's 80, 85 years old, then they're not going to live another 50. If they're 50, they may live another 40. So when are you going to start sharing? Just be cautious, be careful. Our kids are not entitled to anything that we have. And the other thing is, you may spend it all before you die. So why get their hopes up, right? And I don't mean hopes of you dying, but hopes of them getting money from you. So I'm just not a big sharer as far as that goes. But, you know, if you already did, then that's fine. Just make sure if there's an amendment, you kind of own up to it and say, oh yeah, I've changed my trust, or do a restatement, which requires you to throw away all of your old documents and have a brand new one. That's a super cool way to do it. That way we're not guessing whether something was amended or changed. So just like throw away the old one, here's the new one. We do that a lot. It's called a restatement. It's an amendment and complete restatement of the trust. So sometimes that's necessary. If your trust is old, it's 15, 18, 20 years old, you know, I might look at it and say, you know what, it has done its job. That, you know, whatever you paid back 20 years ago, it was so worth it because it has done its job. Thank goodness it didn't do the distribution section because you're still alive and competent. But let's get a new one. Let's get a new start. Let's add in the new laws that have changed in the past 25 years. Let's get that all in place. The new conditions, the laws getting more complicated. Let's get your trust so that it's intelligible, easy to understand, and up to date. And if you got somebody to do that for you, that's awesome. If you got a brother that's a terrific estate planning attorney, awesome. But if not, I'd love to help you out. 855-500-TRUST. Get on my calendar. You can get in within the next couple of weeks. It does fill up kind of fast. This is the time of year when people are really kind of focusing on getting summer's ending, or want to get stuff in shape. We're planning our last minute vacations, whatever. 855-500-TRUST. Okay. Now, this is the good news if you do wait too late. If you wait too late, there's always something called a conservatorship. That is like a court-appointed power of attorney. So if dad waits too long to assign someone to help him out financially, he doesn't get a power of attorney, he doesn't put his money in the trust, and now he's really not functioning well. And the doctor says, this guy should not be making financial decisions. He's happy, he's kind, he's eating well, but he does not have the capacity to make legal decisions. Well, if that's the case, and there is a needed legal decision to be made, then you're going to have to go get court authority to speak for your father. And that is called a conservatorship. There's a court-appointed attorney for your dad. There's a court-appointed investigator for your dad. And they will both talk to you if you're going to be the conservator. You get to hire an attorney to file a petition for conservatorship. And over the next 4 to 8 months, we're going to become best friends because we're going to be working very closely to get the thing done. And as long as dad's okay with it and doesn't object to it and doesn't, you know, freak out because of the process, then you are probably good to go. Okay. But if you don't want to go through the conservatorship process, then you need to have the appropriate power of attorneys. Now, it may not be a general durable power of attorney. It may be a limited, which is my favorite, limited durable power of attorney. But it's going to involve having a trust. It's going to involve having a will, having your financial power of attorneys, and your health power of attorneys. Those things are going to be essential to get those done so that they're in place when you die or if you become incapacitated. So that's the kind of stuff we help out with. Do it every day. Got a good process. It takes us only a couple of weeks. Our typical turnaround time is that. It is 2 weeks. You come in, we consult, we talk about what's going to happen. Take us 30 minutes to an hour to figure it out. You've got some homework, some documents to prepare. You work with my team, and 2 weeks later, you can have everything signed, sealed, and delivered. So it's an awesome process we've been working on. Get on my calendar, 855-500-TRUST, 855-500-TRUST. Get this stuff done. Get it off your shoulders and let us help you out. 855-500-TRUST. Tomorrow, Ken Pecos. He's our real estate guru. And then on Thursday, of course, you're going to go to the town hall meeting at 5 o'clock. All right. Talk to you tomorrow, everybody. See ya.
Tell a friend about the Word on Wealth, featured since 1995. With financial solutions attorney Gary Quackenbush, an expert in estate planning, wills and trusts, and tax problem solving. Gary is past president of the California Society of Tax Consultants. Reach out to us. The Word on Wealth team of financial experts is here to answer your questions and help preserve your family's financial future. The information you hear on the Word on Wealth is for general information purposes only. This program discusses general financial and legal topics. Seek legal advice from a competent lawyer for your individual legal needs. The opinions expressed here do not necessarily represent the views of Salem Media Group or its sponsors.
The airing of this program